Have you ever awakened in the dead of night, your body frozen like a statue of salt, eyes wide open but helpless to move, a shadow hovering at the edge of your vision? You try to scream, but silence clings to your throat. You sense a presence, a watcher from beyond the veil, and wonder, is this a dream or something far older? Welcome, seeker, to the threshold of worlds. What many call sleep paralysis, the ancients called the demon on the chest, the spirit's restraint, or the guardian of the astral gate. In cultures across time and continents, this strange experience has inspired both terror and awe. It is no ordinary sleep disorder, it is a rite of passage, a moment when the veil thins and the soul hovers between dimensions. In this sacred space, half in shadow, half in starlight, sleep paralysis reveals itself not only as a physiological event, but as a spiritual encounter. But what are we truly encountering in these moments of frozen stillness? Fear? The subconscious? Or entities that have always dwelled just beyond our waking sight? In today's journey, we will not merely discuss how to stop sleep paralysis. No. That would be like slamming shut a door without ever peering through it. Instead, we will learn how to understand it, navigate it, and, if we dare, transform it into a path of power. You will discover ancient perspectives and hidden truths about sleep paralysis drawn from mystical traditions and esoteric writings. The mechanics behind this liminal experience, what is happening in body, mind, and soul. Practical techniques to manage fear, regain control, and even use this altered state as a launch pad for astral projection or lucid dreaming. So, if you are ready to go beyond the fear, to stand at the gate not as a victim, but as a voyager of consciousness, then stay with me. For what you're about to learn may forever change the way you sleep and the way you awaken. To understand sleep paralysis through the lens of esoteric wisdom, we must step back from the fluorescent glare of modern science and gaze into the flickering firelight of ancient knowledge. For what we call a sleep disorder today, our ancestors often revered or feared as a spiritual event of great significance. The night visitor across cultures and almost every culture, sleep paralysis has been mythologized with eerie consistency. In ancient Mesopotamia, they spoke of Lilu and Lilitu, male and female spirits who would press upon the chests of sleeping victims at night. In the Middle Ages of Europe, it was the incubus and succubus, demonic entities that would visit dreamers in their vulnerable twilight state. The Norse knew of the mare, a wraith-like presence believed to cause nightmare, a term that still lingers today. In Japan, this phenomenon is called kanashibari, meaning bound in metal, a term that perfectly captures the helpless immobility of the experience. Meanwhile, in West African traditions, it's believed that sleep paralysis can be caused by spiritual attacks, especially if one's aura is weakened or unguarded. But why, across cultures and continents, do the stories align so closely? Because at its core, sleep paralysis is more than a neurological glitch. It is a liminal experience, one that occurs when the soul strays from the body but has not fully detached. A state that mystics and shamans know well, where perception stretches beyond the physical senses and beings from other realms become tangible. The esoteric lens, body, mind, and the etheric shell esoteric teachings, particularly those from the Hermetic, Gnostic, and Tibetan Buddhist traditions, describe the human being as not just flesh and mind, but as layered energy fields. The physical body is merely the densest of these layers. Surrounding it are the etheric, astral, and causal bodies, each vibrating at a different frequency. Sleep paralysis, from this perspective, occurs when the conscious mind awakens while the subtle bodies are still dislodged from the physical shell. This state, called body asleep, mind awake, is highly unstable, yet brimming with potential. It's a doorway that can lead to terror or transcendence. In Tibetan dream yoga, practitioners aim to induce this very condition as a way of training the soul for lucid dreaming and conscious death. The paralysis is not feared, it is welcomed as a signpost along the path. In Gnostic Christian writings, such as the Apocryphon of John, we read of archons, parasitic entities that feed on fear and ignorance. The sleep paralysis experience may, symbolically or literally, place us face to face with such inner or outer forces. The test is whether we recoil or remain aware. The guardian of the threshold in Western occultism, especially in the teachings of Rudolf Steiner, the concept of the guardian of the threshold emerges. This figure, neither good nor evil, represents the unprocessed fears, traumas, and karma that block our spiritual ascent. The paralysis, the suffocation, the looming presence may all be externalizations of this guardian archetype. And here is the hidden teaching: to awaken spiritually, one must pass through the darkness within. Sleep paralysis, then, is not a curse, but a summons. A challenge to rise from fear into awareness. To meet the shadow, and hold your gaze. Imagine waking up in a world where gravity behaves differently, where thoughts echo louder than sound, and where perception is no longer bound to the flesh. This is not a dream. This is the beginning of sleep paralysis, a mysterious, in-between realm where body and soul are momentarily out of step. To truly manage sleep paralysis, we must first understand it. Not just as a scientific phenomenon, but as a dance between physiology and spirit, between brain chemistry and subtle energy. So let us begin, like the ancient alchemists, by dissecting the parts to understand the whole. The physical mechanism: body asleep, mind awake. Sleep, the body follows a sacred rhythm, cycles of brainwave activity that usher us from wakefulness to deep rest and back again. During the REM phase, rapid eye movement, our brain is highly active, often dreaming, while the body undergoes atonia, a kind of natural paralysis designed to prevent us from physically acting out our dreams. Sleep paralysis occurs when the mind awakens before the body. The soul stirs, consciousness returns, but the gatekeeper, the nervous system, has not yet caught up. The body remains locked in a state of stasis, protective yet terrifying. In this limbo, the conscious mind becomes aware, but the dream state brain chemistry lingers. The veil between inner and outer reality thins. Hallucinations may emerge: voices, shadows, whispers in unknown tongues. Are these phantoms of the subconscious? Or something else? The energetic blueprint, misalignment of subtle bodies. Esoteric traditions have long described human consciousness as multi-layered. Imagine a stack of luminous bodies like nesting dolls: physical, etheric, emotional, mental, and astral. During deep sleep, especially before an astral projection or lucid dream, these layers partially separate. The astral body, the vessel of dreams and desires, may rise and explore other dimensions. But if the physical body reawakens too quickly while the astral is still adrift, a disconnect occurs. This energetic misalignment may manifest as pressure on the chest, difficulty breathing, a sense of being watched, or the infamous presence in the room. Not because something is attacking, but because the soul is briefly, vulnerably unmoored. Fear is the amplifier in this state. Emotion becomes the architect of perception. Fear acts as a magnifying lens, projecting inner shadows onto the screen of waking reality. If you enter sleep paralysis with panic, you feed the illusion. The dark figure at the foot of your bed grows more defined. The sensation of suffocation intensifies. But, and here lies the great secret, if you respond with awareness, the illusion begins to dissolve. Or, more powerfully, it transforms. Those who train in dream work, astral travel, and occult disciplines often use this moment of paralysis as a springboard. A gateway. By recognizing the state and shifting perspective, they ride the paralysis into an out-of-body experience, or transmute it into lucid dreaming. The role of attention and will sleep paralysis teaches a subtle truth: your focus is your power. Where attention goes, energy flows. If you focus on terror, the experience feeds upon itself. But if you draw your awareness inward, toward your breath, your third eye, or the rising sensation within the chest, you begin to redirect the current. This is why ancient mystics speak of stilling the mind and centering the breath. In sleep paralysis, these are not poetic ideas, they are weapons of clarity. Shields of light. To manage sleep paralysis, then, is not simply to wake up faster. It is to become the calm in the storm. To observe the fear without fusing with it. To remember that you are not the body, and not even the mind. You are the witness. As we move deeper into the experience of sleep paralysis, we find ourselves in a realm that is neither fully physical nor entirely spiritual, a borderland. And like all borderlands in myth and mystery, this place is guarded by riddles, by figures that test the soul, and by phenomena that defy linear explanation. But what are these entities? Why do so many people, across cultures and centuries, report eerily similar presences, shadowy figures, hags, humanoid shapes with red eyes, voices calling their name? Are these hallucinations? Archetypes? Or are we encountering something much older than we realize? The entities in the room, archetype or actuality? Modern psychology tells us that the brain, in a dissociated state, may manifest waking dreams as visual and auditory hallucinations. These are the echoes of our subconscious, projections of fear, stress, trauma, or suppressed emotion. But esoteric teachings suggest a more layered truth. According to occult lore, what we encounter during sleep paralysis are not always just figments of imagination. They may be astral wildlife low-vibration entities that dwell in the lower astral plane, attracted by fear and confusion. Thought forms energetic constructs fed by repeated belief or trauma, sometimes created by the experiencer themselves. Guardians, neutral beings whose role is to test the consciousness of those on the threshold of awakening. Inner archetypes, shadow aspects of the self, projected outward as part of the alchemical process of inner transformation. So which is it? Hallucination or spiritual reality? The answer is both. Reality is layered, and the sleep paralysis state reveals the overlap. Like a mirror made of mist, this realm reflects both inner content and outer forces. It is an initiatory space, where one must learn to discern, not with logic, but with intuition sharpened by presence. The vibrational truth, all traditions that work with energy, be it Qi in Taoism, Prana in yoga, or Sikkim in Egyptian mysticism, agree on one thing: states of consciousness are states of vibration. Sleep paralysis occurs at a unique vibrational frequency, somewhere between waking beta waves and the slower, visionary theta state. This frequency is highly suggestible, like soft clay awaiting an imprint. It responds not to physical effort, but to emotion, intent, and belief. That is why fear is so potent. It imprints the experience with chaos. But those who learn to still themselves, to raise their vibration with breath, prayer, mantra, or sheer will, can shift the entire tone of the encounter. What was once a nightmare becomes a vision. What once pressed down on your chest becomes a portal through which you rise. Why you? A question often whispered by those who experience sleep paralysis frequently is, why me? Why does this keep happening to me? Let me offer a possibility rarely spoken aloud: you may be called. Sleep paralysis, recurring in the lives of sensitive souls, often marks a latent capacity for lucid dreaming, astral travel, or expanded perception. It is not a flaw, it is an initiation. Mystical traditions speak of the night school of the soul, dream realms where teachings are given to those ready to awaken. In this view, sleep paralysis is the threshold classroom. Your fear is the first test. Your awareness, the first key. Not everyone experiences this. Not everyone can. But if you do, perhaps it is because your spirit is being invited to explore deeper layers of reality. The inner alchemy of sleep paralysis: to transmute lead into gold, the alchemist must pass through fire. And so it is with the alchemy of sleep paralysis. The fear, the paralysis, the shadows, these are the lead. The awareness, the transformation, the awakening, these are the gold. You are not being punished. You are being pressured into awareness. The paralysis, in this view, is a cocoon. Not a trap, but a chamber of transformation. The caterpillar dissolves inside it, and the butterfly awakens with wings made of stardust. So you awaken, frozen. A weight presses on your chest. Shadows flicker at the edge of perception. Panic rises like a tide. But this time, you are not a victim. You are a student of the threshold, and you come armed with knowledge. In this section, we will walk through the practical steps and sacred techniques that transform sleep paralysis from a prison of fear into a path of power. These are drawn from spiritual traditions, modern energy work, and the personal accounts of dreamwalkers who have crossed the veil and returned with light in their eyes. The first breath, the anchor in the abyss. The moment awareness stirs within the paralysis, focus on the breath. Even if your body cannot move, your breath remains a subtle thread, your tether to calm and your shield against fear. Technique: shift your awareness to your nose or chest, and observe the breath, rather than control it. Imagine each inhale as drawing in golden light, and each exhale as expelling fear. This grounds the mind, prevents panic, and stabilizes the energetic body. In ancient yogic traditions, breath, prana, is the vehicle of consciousness. Where breath goes, fear cannot dominate. The sacred name, using sound and thought as protection. Speech may be stolen in paralysis, but thought is not. Many spiritual systems recommend the silent repetition of a mantra, sacred word, or prayer. This anchors the mind and radiates high-frequency energy that dissolves lower astral interference. Suggested invocations: I am light. I am sovereign. I am safe. The Gayatri Mantra: for those of Vedic alignment, the name of a guardian, deity, or archangel you resonate with. Even a simple I see you, spoken mentally to any dark figure, can break the illusion. Awareness is a weapon, fear cannot survive its gaze. The energy body pulse, micro-movements to regain control. While full body motion may be locked, tiny micro-movements are often still possible, particularly in the fingertips, toes, or tongue. These can act like sparks, reigniting the nervous system. Technique: try to wiggle a single toe or move your tongue along the roof of your mouth. Combine this with intentional breathing and visualization of your body lighting up, limb by limb, with white fire. In Taoist alchemy, energy follows intention. You're not merely waking the body, you are commanding the qi to return. Preemptive rituals before sleep: to reduce or consciously engage sleep paralysis, one must also prepare the temple of the night. 1. Set the space. Avoid sleeping on your back. Supine position increases likelihood of paralysis. Keep a piece of obsidian, amethyst, or black tourmaline by your bed for energetic shielding. Burn mugwort or use calming essential oils like frankincense or lavender to harmonize your astral environment. 2. Declare intent before sleep. Just as dream yogis do, speak an intention aloud or mentally before sleep. Tonight I sleep in awareness. I welcome my journey beyond fear. This primes the subconscious, aligning your astral body and reducing surprise or helplessness if paralysis occurs. Transmuting the experience, from paralysis to projection. For the bold-hearted, sleep paralysis can become a launch pad for astral projection or lucid dreaming. How? Once fear is managed, focus on a gentle spinning sensation, as if your astral body is rotating within your physical shell. Visualize yourself floating upwards or rolling out of your body. Maintain detachment and curiosity. Emotions must remain still as a calm lake. Many report success in exiting the body directly from paralysis, using it as the gateway to the astral realm. Integration, journaling and energetic cleansing. Upon awakening fully, immediately journal the experience. This builds awareness, tracks patterns, and gives you psychological distance from recurring fears. Additionally, perform a brief aura cleanse upon waking. Shake your limbs, take a saltwater bath, or rub salt on the skin. Expose yourself to morning sunlight. Ground barefoot on the earth. These acts tell the body and soul, I have returned. I am whole. I am sovereign. You are no longer just someone who has sleep paralysis. You are a cartographer of consciousness, a navigator of the unknown. These practices, when engaged with reverence, transform fear into clarity and paralysis into passage. There are moments in life when the world goes still, not with peace, but with eerie suspension. Sleep paralysis is one such moment. A crack between seconds. A breath caught between two realms. And in that breath, we are offered a choice: flee from the darkness, or face it and awaken. Tonight, perhaps tomorrow, you may find yourself once again bound in that strange stillness, limbs frozen, breath shallow, eyes wide. But now, you carry with you more than fear. You carry understanding. You carry tools. You carry truth. You've learned that sleep paralysis is not just a malfunction of the brain, but a threshold experience, a rite found in the dream temples of Egypt, the caves of Tibetan yogis, and the silent meditations of Hermetic adepts. It is the moment when the self glimpses what lies beneath the surface, the subconscious, the astral, the divine. You've explored the ancient names and myths surrounding this mystery, revealing its universal and archetypal nature, the mechanics of how body and soul part ways, and how fear casts shadows that become monsters. The secret, that awareness is the sword that cuts through illusion, the practices that bring control, clarity, and even spiritual awakening to this most personal of initiations. But knowledge alone is not power. Applied knowledge is. It is now your turn to walk the path. Tonight, should the shadows visit, do not curse them. Observe. Breathe. Speak inwardly. Shift your energy. Use your intention like a blade, and your breath like a torch. This is no longer just sleep. It is spiritual training. It is initiation by darkness, through which you will emerge, not only awake, but awakened. And so, as we draw this journey to a close, I leave you with this: there is no fear in the presence of the soul, only forgotten memory. Remember who you are when the stillness comes. May your nights be full of wonder, and your paralysis, a portal to truth. If this video has stirred something within you, share your story below. Have you walked the edge of sleep? Faced the watchers in the dark? Let us know. And if you're ready to go deeper into astral exploration, lucid dreaming, and the hidden paths of the soul, subscribe, for the gates are only just beginning to open. Until next time, walk in both worlds.